What if I told you that saving your first $10,000 is not about the money? Most people think it is. They grind, they save, they sacrifice, and then the moment they hit that number, they expect life to feel different. But here is the wild truth. Your bank account changes first. Then your brain changes. And that is when everything shifts. The rules of money that worked before you hit $10,000, they stop working. A brand new set of rules kicks in. And if nobody teaches you those rules, you will stay stuck, even with money in the bank. This is Ron Invest. Welcome back to the channel where we break down the real mechanics of building wealth, one powerful concept at a time. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss a video. This content is completely free, and it could change the entire direction of your financial life. Today, we're talking about something I call the $10,000 rule. This is the turning point that separates people who stay broke from people who start building real wealth. Let us get into it. Let us start with the most important question. Why $10,000? Why not $5,000? Why not $50,000? The answer is simple. $10,000 is the first financial threshold where compounding becomes visible to you. It is the first number where your money starts doing work while you sleep. It is the first milestone where you go from surviving to positioning. And positioning is everything in wealth building. Before you hit $10,000, you are playing defense. You are trying to cover rent, avoid debt, handle emergencies, and maybe put a little aside each month. Every single dollar is spoken for before it even lands in your account. You are reactive. You are scrambling. And that is not your fault. That is just the reality of life below the first threshold. But the moment you cross $10,000, you start playing offense. And offense is where wealth is actually built. Let me walk you through exactly how everything changes, step by step. The first thing that changes is your relationship with risk. Before $10,000, risk feels dangerous. And honestly, it is dangerous when you have no cushion. If you try something new and it fails, you have nothing to fall back on. So your brain, which is wired to protect you, keeps you conservative. It tells you to play it safe. Stick to the job. Do not invest. Do not start the business. Do not take the leap. But $10,000 gives you what experts call a risk buffer. You now have a safety net. Not a huge one, but enough. Enough to try something. Enough to invest a portion without losing your ability to pay rent. Enough to take a calculated shot. Here is what I want you to understand. Wealth is built in the space between security and risk. And $10,000 is what creates that space for the first time. When you have nothing, you cannot afford to take any risks. When you have $10,000, you can afford to take smart risks. That is a massive, massive shift. The second change is your earning potential. This one surprises a lot of people. How does having $10,000 saved make you earn more? Here is how. When you have a financial cushion, you stop making decisions from desperation. And desperation is one of the most expensive mindsets a person can have. Think about it. Have you ever stayed in a job you hated because you could not afford to quit? Have you ever accepted a low salary because you needed money now and could not wait for a better offer? Have you ever skipped an investment in a course, a tool, or a skill because you were too scared to spend anything? All of those decisions cost you money in the long run. Staying in the wrong job, accepting the wrong salary, skipping the skill that would have doubled your income. $10,000 in the bank gives you negotiating power. You can walk away from bad deals. You can wait for better opportunities. You can say no to things that do not serve your financial future. And the ability to say no is one of the most powerful financial tools that exists. Wealthy people say no constantly. They say no to bad investments. They say no to undervalued job offers. They say no to people and situations that drain their resources. That power to say no? It starts at $10,000. The third change is how compound interest starts working for you instead of against you. Most people first learn about compound interest in the context of debt. Credit card interest, student loan interest, car loan interest. And in that context, compounding is your enemy. It is the reason a $500 credit card balance can turn into $3,000 over time if you only make minimum payments. But at $10,000, you flip the script. Now, compound interest starts working for you. Here is a quick example. If you take $10,000 and invest it at an average annual return of 8%, which is historically very achievable through index funds, here is what happens. After 10 years, you have roughly $21,589. You did not add a single dollar. That is over $11,000 generated purely by compounding. After 20 years, you have roughly $46,610, still without adding anything else. After 30 years, you have over $100,000 from that single $10,000, more than 10 times your original amount. Now imagine you keep contributing every month on top of that initial $10,000. The numbers become extraordinary. And it all starts at that first threshold. That first $10,000 is the seed that plants the tree. The fourth change is your psychology. And this one might be the most powerful of all. Saving your first $10,000 does something to your identity. It rewires how you see yourself. You stop being someone who wants money and start being someone who has money. And that shift in identity changes your behavior in dozens of invisible ways. You start tracking your spending differently. You start thinking in terms of assets and liabilities instead of just income and expenses. You start looking at things and asking, is this going to make me richer or poorer? Instead of just, can I afford this right now? Your standards rise, your patience increases, your tolerance for financial nonsense decreases. You start expecting more from your financial life because you have proven to yourself that you can do it. That proof is priceless. Before $10,000, a part of your brain might secretly wonder, am I even capable of this? After $10,000, that question is answered. You know you can do it, and that confidence compounds just like interest does. The fifth change is your access. And this is a change most people never talk about. The financial world is not a level playing field. And one of the biggest dividing lines is the $10,000 mark. Here is why. Many investment accounts have minimum balances. Certain brokerage accounts, real estate crowdfunding platforms, and private investment opportunities simply are not available to you unless you have capital to deploy. $10,000 opens the door to a whole new tier of financial tools. Treasury bonds, certificates of deposit, high-yield money market accounts. Many of these offer significantly better returns once you hit a certain minimum threshold. Below $10,000, your options are limited. Above it, you gain access to better rates, better vehicles, and better opportunities. Beyond that, having $10,000 also makes you a more credible borrower. If you need a business loan, an investment property loan, or any kind of financing to grow your wealth, lenders look at your financial history and your savings. $10,000 is not enough for most major loans, but it shows financial discipline, and that opens conversations that were not available to you before. Now, I want to talk about the biggest mistake people make right after hitting $10,000. They spend it. I know, it sounds so obvious, but you would be shocked at how common this is. People save for months, hit $10,000, feel like they finally have breathing room, and then make a purchase they have been holding off on. A new car, a vacation, a shopping spree. And just like that, they are back below the threshold. And here is the cruel part. They have to start the psychological journey all over again. The discipline, the sacrifice, the months of grinding. They have to repeat all of it to get back to zero. The $10,000 rule is not just about saving $10,000. It is about understanding that $10,000 is a line in the sand. It is a boundary you never cross back over. You protect it. You guard it. You treat it as the foundation upon which everything else is built. Now, this does not mean you can never touch it in an emergency. That is what emergency funds are for. But you rebuild it the moment you do. $10,000 is your financial floor, not your ceiling. So, how do you actually build to $10,000 if you are not there yet? Here is the framework I recommend. First, you automate. The moment your paycheck hits, you move a fixed amount directly to a separate savings account before you see it. Not after paying bills. Not whatever is left at the end of the month. First, even if it is $100 a month, automation removes willpower from the equation. Second, you accelerate with additional income. Your primary job alone may get you there slowly, but a side hustle, selling items you no longer use, or picking up extra hours, even temporarily, can cut your timeline in half. Set a clear target. Give yourself a deadline. 6 months, 12 months. Whatever is realistic. Deadlines create urgency. Third, you protect your progress by auditing your subscriptions and recurring expenses every single month. Most people are bleeding $200 to $400 a month on things they forgot they signed up for. Plug those leaks and redirect that money to savings. Fourth, you celebrate milestones without spending. $2,500, $5,000, $7,500. Acknowledge each one. Journal about it. Tell someone you trust. Let the progress motivate you further, but keep the money where it is. And once you hit $10,000, what comes next? This is where the $10,000 rule truly comes alive. You split your approach into 3 categories. The first category is your emergency fund. Keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account. For many people, $10,000 covers this entirely. If it does, you are now in a position to invest everything else you save going forward. The second category is investing. If your emergency fund is covered, your next dollars go into wealth-building vehicles. A Roth IRA, if you qualify, an index fund inside a brokerage account, a tax-advantaged account through your employer if available. The specific vehicle matters less than the habit of consistently investing. The third category is education. Not formal education necessarily, but investing in skills and knowledge that increase your income potential. A course on a high-demand skill. Books on investing, business, or money mindset. Coaching or mentorship in a field you want to grow in. The return on investment for education is often higher than any financial instrument when applied correctly. $10,000 is not the destination, it is the launching pad. The real wealth building starts here. Let me bring this all together. The $10,000 rule is not just about a number. It is about crossing a threshold that changes your relationship with money, your access to opportunity, your psychology around wealth, and your ability to take the kinds of calculated risks that lead to real financial freedom. Below $10,000, you are surviving. At $10,000, you are positioning. Above $10,000, with the right habits and knowledge, you are building. Most people never learn this because nobody teaches it to them. They think wealth is a mystery. They think it is luck or talent or being born into the right family. But the truth is, wealth follows rules. And the $10,000 rule is one of the most important ones. Now you know it. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Start today. Even if you can only save $50 this week, start. The discipline you build on the way to $10,000 is just as valuable as the money itself. You are building the identity of someone who creates wealth, and that identity will carry you far beyond $10,000. Thank you so much for watching. If this video gave you value, please hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this message. Subscribe if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. I post new content every week on the real practical mechanics of building wealth and financial freedom. This is Ron Invest, and I will see you in the next one.